we're going to see it again. The Federal Reserve, they're out talking, and they know about as much about what's going on in the economy as they did last year when they said inflation was transitory. So you get these characters going out there talking, and I wish they would listen to us. It would be very nice if they would. Okay, Ingram, you love this one, Mary. Joe Ingram piping in. Mary, help Grandpa read his screen. Okay, I'm glad we got a mute button on this thing. This show is the Young and Restless Leg Syndrome. I don't know about that one, Joe. Okay, let's keep moving right along and see what we've got going on here. So the Federal Reserve, that's what I was starting to chat about, is what the Federal Reserve is out there telling people and what they're apparently not aware of because they're not telling people this. So we're getting them out. They're having their chats. Fed Governor Chris Waller spoke in Sydney, Australia, and said it's good to see evidence of inflation coming down, but the Fed would need to see a continued decline before the Fed thinks about taking their foot off the economic brakes of rate hikes. So again, I just mentioned this is one of the same people that thought inflation was transitory. Let me explain this to you, Mr. Waller. So you can look at the Fed, the Cass Freight Index. That tells you about people that are, or companies that are shipping goods across the country, across the world. Shipments are down. That means, people are not buying things. Otherwise, they'd have to be shipped. Inventory is up. And again, while people are not buying anything and they're not shipping anything, that's not a good sign for the economy. We're seeing all sorts of companies laying off people. Now, I know the president thinks that recessions occur when unemployment is high, but he doesn't understand this either. Recessions always start when unemployment is very low. They get high because of the recession. So Twitter's cutting 50% of its workforce, Facebook cutting 13% of its staff, Snap cutting 20% of its staff, Shopify cutting 10%, Netflix 450 jobs, Microsoft is cutting 1,000 jobs, Salesforce 1,000 jobs. Who cares about Robinhood? They're cutting 31%, but Tesla cutting 10%, Lyft 13%, Redfin 13%, Coinbase 18%, Stripe 14%. And some companies that aren't cutting, but they're changing. Amazon, a hiring freeze. Apple paused almost all hiring. Google reducing new hiring by 50%. Can you understand this, Mr. Waller? This is where recessions start. Now, we're not smart enough to know that it's not transitory, but we were. We told you that. We knew what was going to happen with interest rates when inflation changed. We talked about that 6 months ago, when it would change. We're going to see on the PCE tomorrow that the headline will be beneficial. The core, not going to change all that much. But these are all issues that the Federal Reserve, they've got way more money than we have with no budget here at Ron Siegel Radio. Just throwing that out there to you. And they can't find this data. All they have to do is subscribe to some of the same sources we do. Just amazes me how they don't know these things are going on and that they've already done more than enough. It's going to take a while for all of these increases to take place. So what is the results of what they did? Well, Friday, we had a great day in the bond market from the sense of interest rates. And today we're giving a little bit of it back. That's kind of normal when you have a day where the bonds go up 206 basis points. Today they're down 36. 10-year treasuries up a little bit. These are all normal issues. But the bottom line here is, something we don't need any more of the increases in interest rates. And maybe they should take a look at their own balance sheet, because we did. And their balance sheet shows that they haven't done nearly what they've been talking about. Why would that be? Well, we'll continue talking about that. The S&P 500 now down 1.33. 10-year treasury holding steady, up 2 basis points, 3.871. And mortgage-backed securities are down 37 basis points. Means interest rates are up ever so slightly. And as I mentioned in the opening segment, they had a great day on those on Friday, but let's take a look at it. OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions. Nationwide, 30-year conforming loans locked at 6.732 on Friday. Jumbo 6.668. FHA at 6.642. USDA for those in the rural areas, generally no down payment, 6.578. And the best loan on the market for those that earned it, the VA loan, 6.528 is the VA loan. That's what locked on Friday. Again, what's driving this? Well, the markets are down a little bit, as I mentioned in the opening segment, because of comments from the Federal Reserve. Be nice if they'd all get on the same page, wouldn't it? I mean, I know they're individuals and they've all got the same, they're different thought processes, even though none of them have ever worked anywhere but the Federal Reserve. I just throw that out there. So what else is going on out there other than these issues? Consumer Price Index inflation report after seeing a 206 basis point rally in mortgage bonds. Again, natural to see a bit of a pullback. The bonds are already well off the worst levels from early in the morning. Something else that may help inflation, America's biggest retailer, Walmart, has a new message for its suppliers. We're not going to pay higher prices anymore. This has major implication for both inflation and profit margins. It will lead to relief in inflation and add stress on their vendors' profit margins, or maybe they just won't get as much in the way of shipments unless other people want some of these things. I'll just throw that out there for you. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990.